Right is a complex number in standard form. We have square root of 3 minus I square roots of 3 all to the 6th power. So first thing is to find the modulus r, and that's the Pythagorean theorem because modulus is the distance from the origin to the point on the graph. So it's going to be the square root of 3 squared plus square root of 3 squared. And that equals square root of 3 plus 3, because the square root of 3 squared is simply 3. That equals square root of 6. So tangent of theta equals b over a. In this case, it equals the negative square root of 3 over the square root of 3, which is negative 1. So tangent of theta equals negative 1. So you could have a tangent making a negative 1 here in the second quadrant or in the fourth quadrant. In this case, because the first number here is positive and the second number here is negative, that means the x is positive and the y is negative basically, so we're going to be in quadrant 4. And the reference angle is pi over 4. So this means our theta angle is 7 pi over 4. Now we're ready to write this in trigonometric form. Z equals square root of 6 times cosine of 7 pi over 4 plus I sine of 7 pi over 4. Okay, so now we need to raise it all to the 6th power. Z to the 6th equals all this to the 6th. Okay, so we'll distribute the exponents. Square root of 6, and that'll be to the 6th power. And then times cosine of 6 times 7 pi over 4 plus I times the sine of 6 times 7 pi over 4. Okay, the square root of 6 to the 6th power, that's the same thing as 6 cubed. And then over here, 6 times 7 is 42. So 6 times 7 is 42, then divided by 4. Reduces by 2 to make 21 halves. So it's going to be times cosine of 21 pi over 2 plus I sine of 21 pi over 2. Okay, now we need to figure out the cosine and sine ratios for 21 pi over 2. Well, I like to think of it as this way. 21 over 2 equals 10.5. So that's 10.5 pi basically. Now the 10 pi, that's 5 full revolutions about the circle. Then you have half a pi left. So that means your reference angle here is going to be pi over 2. And we know the cosine of pi over 2 is 0. Sine of pi over 2 is 1. So let's simplify this out. 6 to the 3rd times 0 for the cosine of 21 pi over 2 plus I times 1 for the sine of 21 pi over 2. So that equals 6 to the 3rd times basically I, because I times 1 is I, and then plus a 0, so you just get I. Now 6 to the 3rd is 216. Then you have your I. So there's the complex number in standard form. We have square root of 3 minus I times square root of 3 all to the 6th power. And then we wrote it in trigonometric form right here. then applied Demoivre's theorem, and basically just simplified all the way down to 216i.